I'm now going to hand you over to John Gorton, who will be presenting the webinar. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So we're going to talk through some changes that Microsoft have made recently to their volume licensing products and programs. So first one is to touch on Office 365 E5. E5 was launched by Microsoft last year, but as you'll see, it affects some of the newer suites that are available from Microsoft. So I'm just going to talk through some of the changes there. So Office 365 E3, which you may be familiar with, includes the client, so Office 365 Pro Plus. It also includes the Office mobile apps as well as services such as Exchange Online, SharePoint Online and Skype for Business Online. The new E5 suite includes additional security, analytics and enterprise voice functionality. So some of the newer technologies include Advanced Threat Protection, or ATP. So ATP allows things like safe attachments, so it protects against unknown malware and viruses by opening up attachments, email attachments in a virtual machine, so that can be detected for malicious behavior and malware. Safe Links provides point-in-time URL security, and Click Trace provides rich reporting around where users have clicked on different URLs and keeps a record of that, so obviously you can report on that. Customer Lockbox restricts access to data, so when you have a support engineer at Microsoft trying to resolve an issue, you can make sure that they've got or you've restricted access to all of your data, so that they can't access any of that. Then we've got Advanced e-discovery. So e-discovery is thread analytics, so it reconstructs email threads and bring those back to you. It also removes duplicate data, so that you've got all of those email threads all in one single view, without having to go through multiple different duplicates. We've also got Power BI Pro, so allows visualizations of data, so you can import data from various different sources, including Excel. You can also attach that to third-party web applications such as Salesforce and various different ones there. Then you've got Delve Analytics. Delve Analytics allows you to report on how users are working day to day, where they're spending their time, and there's also an Outlook add-in again to help you see where users are spending their time. In terms of voice, we've got PSTN conferencing. So PSTN conferencing allows you to dial into a Skype for Business meeting or dial out to bring a user into a particular meeting. So if you were to do PSTN or Skype for Business on-premises meetings, you would typically pay a third party for these phone numbers to dial into the meeting. So this is hosted by Microsoft specifically for Skype for Business Online. You've got Cloud PBX, I should say. So in addition to a PSTN calling plan, can replace your PBX systems, and Microsoft can now host that. It provides enterprise telephony, so through 2 different calling plans that are available as additional subscriptions. You can either have a domestic calling tariff, gives you 1,200 minutes, or have an international tariff which allows 1,200 domestic or 600 international minutes. So the PSTN calling is an additional subscription which you would pay for on top of Office 365 E5. So in terms of dual access rights, so on the left-hand side in the grey, we've got the 6 components of the Core Cal suite. So if you're familiar with how Microsoft licenses enterprise agreements, typically in the past you used to buy the Core Cal suite or the Enterprise Cal suite. So the Core Cal suite typically includes the standard client access licenses for Exchange, SharePoint, Skype for Business, and then for the infrastructure servers, Windows Server and System Center, Configuration Manager, and then endpoint protection. The Enterprise Cal increases the level of functionality. So for example, Skype for Business Enterprise Cal gives you the video and web conferencing capabilities of Skype for Business, whereas the standard Cal gives you instant messaging presence. So the Enterprise Cals are additive to standard. Then just to complete this picture, we've added on some additional products which you would need to buy on top. So the Skype for Business Plus Cal, this gives you on-premises enterprise voice. And then we've got the Office Professional Plus client, and right at the bottom there we've got Microsoft Identity Manager Cal. So that's all of our on-premises technologies. And on the right-hand side, we've got the equivalent online services. So for example, where we've got Skype for Business Standard Cal, you've got Skype for Business Online Plan 1, and where we've got Skype for Business Enterprise Cal on the left, you see we've got Skype for Business Online Plan 2. So there's 3 Office 365 suites now. So Office 365 E1 gives you the standard functionality of Exchange Online Plan 1, SharePoint Online Plan 1, but it also includes Skype for Business Online Plan 2. We've got the Office 365 E3 suite, which includes the enterprise functionality for Skype for Business, SharePoint and Exchange Online, but also includes the Office 365 Pro Plus client. Now this is a locally installed client. It uses click-to-run technology to deliver the application to the device, but once it's installed it remains on the actual device itself. Then E5 extends the functionality, so again it includes the Office client itself, but then includes, as the previous slides, the Cloud PBX, the PBX, so PSTN conferencing, Power BI, Delve Analytics and so on. So with all of those suites, you can use Office 365 E3 as an example to access both the online services and also the servers on the left-hand side there. So dual access rights. So typically customers have bought the Core Cal suite, they could now go and buy Office 365 E3 and that would give them access to most of the productivity servers. You'll see there's a big gaping hole at the bottom there, and we'll cover that just now with the Enterprise and Mobility Suite. So EMS has also gone through a renaming. So Enterprise and Mobility Suite has now become Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite, and Microsoft have released 2 flavors of EMS. So we've got EMS E3, which included Azure Active Directory Premium Plan 1. So that is single sign-on, multi-factor authentication and password reset. We've got Advanced Threat Analytics, so this is actually an on-premises solution, but identifies suspicious activity on your network and flags that. We've got Intune, so mobile device management for pretty much any device. It complements System Center Config Manager, but can be used typically for devices which don't connect to the corporate network. And then we've got Azure Information Protection Premium, so that is what was Azure Rights Management Services. So again, that's gone through a renaming with some additional capabilities in there as well. So this locks down documents so that they can't be screen grab, printed and so on. Microsoft have introduced EMS E5. So EMS E5 includes all of the functionality of EMS E3, but also includes Azure Active Directory Premium Plan 2, which also includes identity protection and privileged identity management. So going back to our dual access rights, we can complete the box here by putting in either EMS E3 or EMS E5, and again that will provide access to on-premises and cloud technologies. So with Windows again has gone through a renaming. So Windows 10 Enterprise is one of the additions available under volume licensing. So typically when you buy a device with Windows 10 Pro, if you want the enterprise functionality, you can buy an upgrade with software assurance through volume licensing, and that will give you the full enterprise capabilities and functionality. Microsoft have renamed Windows 10 Enterprise with software assurance to Windows 10 Enterprise E3, and they've released a new Windows 10 Enterprise E5 offering, which includes Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection. For education, we've got a similar offering, so it's Windows 10 Education E3 and Windows 10 Education E5, which includes the same functionality as the Enterprise Edition. So just to give you an idea of the features included within the Enterprise Edition, E5 simply just includes Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection, so that's client-side behavioral-based attack detection for obviously once attacks have happened, just to understand what's the impact of those attacks. So Windows 10 Enterprise E3, that's what we've been used to in the past. There are 3 different branches you can adopt. So there's the current branch, which typically is for consumers. So this goes back to the concept of Windows 10 as a service. So Windows 10 will be the last version of Windows released by Microsoft. The current branch for consumers allows them to stay up to date with new features and security patches on an ongoing basis. The current branch for business allows organizations to adopt Windows 10 features typically 3 or 4 months after it's been in the current branch. So it's truly tested by consumers. And then there's the long-term service branch. So long-term service branch allows you to stay on a single version or build of Windows 10 for a period of up to 10 years. So it's 5 years mainstream support and then 5 years of extended support. So you can buy E3, so Windows 10 Enterprise E3 through any of the volume licensing programs that open MPSA and Enterprise Agreement. Microsoft recently made Windows 10 Enterprise E3 available in the Cloud Solution Provider Program, or the Microsoft Cloud Agreement. So this allows users who have deployed Azure Active Directory and have devices with Windows 10 Pro with the anniversary update applied to buy a subscription through CSP. Once the user logs on to their device, it simply updates the enterprise features in the background, so they're kind of already pre-built into the anniversary update. So with any volume licensing, you need to have a qualifying underlying operating system to upgrade from when you're buying a license, a Windows 10 license within volume licensing. So just a reminder there not to purchase devices with Windows 10 Home on them and then upgrade to Enterprise, because it's not a valid qualifying operating system. With Windows 10 Enterprise E5, it's identical to E3 other than the fact it includes Windows Defender Advanced Threat Protection. So again, it's available in most volume licensing agreements. It can be licensed on a per device or per user basis. So typically per user licensing is around about 15% more expensive than per device. But if you find that you've got more devices than you have users, then there are obviously cost benefits there. So you can buy E5 as a standalone either user subscription license or device-based license, or you can purchase an add-on to E3 as a way of stepping up to E5 from E3. Again, it requires an underlying operating system license to upgrade from if you're buying through volume licensing. So last year, Microsoft introduced the Enterprise Cloud Suite. So again, as with most of the products here, Microsoft have renamed Enterprise Cloud Suite to Secure Productive Enterprise. So any existing Enterprise Cloud Suite customers will now have a Secure Productive Enterprise. So along with Office 365 E3 and E5 and Windows E3 and E5 and so on, Microsoft have released two plans for a Secure Productive Enterprise. E3 includes EMS E3, Office 365 E3 and Windows E3. And as you might expect, Secure Productive Enterprise E5 includes the E5 equivalents of those products. There are a couple of major changes from what was the Enterprise Cloud Suite. So there's additional rights, so nothing taken away, it's only new benefits. So one of the benefits here is that Microsoft provides you the rights to have unlimited installs of the productivity servers. So specifically Skype for Business, SharePoint and Exchange Server on premises. So as I said, that's completely unlimited server installs as long as you've licensed your users with Secure Productive Enterprise. Now obviously only users licensed with Secure Productive Enterprise can access those server installs unless you license those separately. There is one caveat on that, and that's that you must deploy those servers on dedicated hardware. So it can't be in a third-party data center where the third party is sharing the hardware with other customers. So it can be in a third party data center where the hardware is dedicated to you. Another major change is the ability to have dual use rights on Office. So one of the challenges we've seen with customers adopting cloud is Office 365 Pro Plus is an always up-to-date Office client, so it updates on a quarterly basis. Some customers can't commit to staying current on Office because of the testing process they have to go through, especially when they've got add-ons to the Office client. So what Secure Productive Enterprise will allow you to do when renewing from software assurance, so that's a key benefit there. When you're moving from Office Professional Plus Software Assurance to Secure Productive Enterprise, or using this from Software Assurance part code, it will give you the rights to also run Office Professional Plus on a single device. So that allows you to continue using Office as you have. It provides you downgrade rights to use earlier versions of Office, and it will also provide the rights to use Office 365 Pro Plus on up to 5 PCs or Macs, in addition to that one copy of Office Professional Plus. Now it does have limited rights, so there are no rights to use it on a remote desktop server or Citrix, for example. So you don't get any roaming use rights. There are no home use program benefits, so typically home use program wouldn't be required because you would be using your Office 365 benefits there. For any new users that obviously don't have software assurance, you'll have the rights to purchase a ratio of 1-to-1. So for example, if you were to renew 500 users from software assurance into secure productive enterprise, you could purchase another 500 users, new users, and they would also have the Office Professional Plus rights. So some other changes. Project Online has gone through a change recently, where Project Online is now provided in 3 different suites. So we've got Project Online Essentials, Project Online Professional, and Project Online Premium. So the major change here is that you used to be able to buy Project Pro for Office 365 as a standalone subscription license, similar to the Office 365 Pro Plus client, which offered you the ability to have 5 installs on either PCs or Macs. The Project Pro for Office 365 client offers the same licensing. That's now wrapped up into Project Online Professional and Project Online Premium. So existing customers won't see a change until the end of their subscription, at which point they'll renew into one of the new suites. New customers will obviously see or only be able to buy one of the new suites that are available. So from the 1st of October, or rather at Microsoft Ignite conference, Windows Server 2016 and System Center 2016 will be released. With the new release, there comes a change in the licensing of these 2 products. So typically in the past, Windows Server Standard and Windows Server Data Center have been technically identical. It was only the licensing that differed. Moving forward with the 2016 editions, there will be differences in the actual editions themselves. So as you can see, with regards to System Center, these are technically identical. So both Standard Edition and Data Center Edition offer the same technology, so the same suite of products. So it includes all of the server-based technologies for managing your server environment. Now the major change is Microsoft are moving from a processor-based licensing model to a core-based licensing model, similar to how they did with SQL Server back in 2012. So you need to license your servers based on the number of processors in the server, but also the number of cores per processor. So there is a minimum of 8 cores per processor, or if you've got a single processor server, it has a minimum of 16 core licenses required to license that server. So today in the processor licensing model, if you've got a single processor server, you would have to buy a 2 processor license anyway, so it always had a minimum of 2 processors. So in terms of cost, an 8 core license is the equivalent to a single processor license. Now Microsoft sell the processor licenses in packs of 2, so again moving forward Microsoft will offer the core based licenses also in packs of 2. So here we've just got a graphical representation of the minimum licenses required. So as you can see, we've got a physical core here, sorry, a physical processor with 2 cores. We would have to license that with a minimum of 8 2-core packs to correctly license that server. So if you've got anything less than 8 cores per processor, you'll still need to buy the minimum of 8 cores to correctly license that server. In terms of the cost impact, as you can see, if you've got more than 8 cores per processor or more than 16 cores per server, you'll see an impact because you're going to have to buy more core licenses than you would have done it was the equivalent processor-based license model. So when transitioning into the new core-based model, Microsoft will give you a grant. So the standard grant is 8 cores per processor. So you'll simply, through software assurance, you'll receive those benefits. If you've got more than 8 cores per processor, Microsoft will give you the extra licenses you need to correctly license that same server. But what you'll need to do is to document, do an inventory of your hardware, simply listing the server name, the number of processors, and the number of cores per processor, and the number of, the grant that you require from Microsoft. You just simply keep that, timestamp it, keep it for your records, and when it comes to renewing software assurance, you renew based on the new license count that you need moving forward. So that is something we can help with. So our software asset management team can assist you with that process. So do get in touch with your Bytes account manager if that's something we can potentially help with. So existing customers won't be affected by this until the renewal of their agreement. Sorry, I should say that's specifically for enterprise agreement customers. Under an enterprise agreement, you can lock in the pricing for a period of 3 years, and you can also lock in both the price and the actual license model as well. So if you've got an existing enterprise agreement, I would recommend, if you haven't already done so, to purchase Windows Server 2012 or System Center 2012 licenses now. You only need to buy a minimum of 1 license to lock in the current license model, and that will see you through to the end of that agreement term. Otherwise, you need to license any new servers, obviously, in the core-based license model. So in Q1 of next year, Microsoft are introducing the Enterprise Advantage program into the MPSA. So MPSA has been around for a couple of years now. It's the Microsoft Products and Services Agreement. This is what was part of Microsoft's next generation volume licensing initiative, whereby they are redesigning all of their volume licensing programs. Effectively to catch up with, obviously, how things have changed over the last few years with the release of cloud technologies. So the Enterprise Advantage will be very similar to the existing Enterprise Agreement. It will offer true up and true down rights, where you can mix and match perpetual licenses and subscription software in the same agreement. You'll receive the best price level, so you can have multiple purchasing accounts, all contributing to the same Enterprise Advantage price band. You can either have an enterprise-wide commitment or purchase ad hoc through what was a program similar to the Select Plus agreement. So there's loads more to come on this one. We'll do another webinar closer to the release time, as I said, of Q1 next year, and provide a lot more information on how that program works and how it will affect existing customers. The pricing will be the same as the enterprise agreement is today, so there'll be no negative impact for any customers. What is changing is the contract terms are going to be much more simple. So signing the MPSA with the Enterprise Advantage paperwork is a lot simpler than the existing enterprise agreement program. So some Azure changes. So we have evaluated the October pricing that we have available from Microsoft, and we can see there are some significant price changes due on the 1st of October. So I would strongly recommend trying to lock in any pricing now for any Azure usage that you want to have over the next year or so. If you sign an Azure-only server and cloud enrollment and it goes live this month, it will lock in the current pricing. Otherwise, we will see price changes take effect from 1st of October. There is more to follow on that from Microsoft, and they are due to make an announcement, I believe, on the 3rd of October regarding that. There's also a new minimum for signing an Azure-only server and cloud enrollment. So whereby it used to be 1 unit per month, Microsoft have increased that to 10 units per month, which is approximately 7,500 per year as a minimum commitment for the server and cloud enrollment. So existing customers will have the ability to extend the agreement for a period of 3 years when it comes to the end, therefore locking in that minimum of 1. Any new customers will be affected by this change from the 1st of October. If you're not able to commit to 10 units per month, or the 7,500 per year, then there are other programs you can purchase Azure through, such as the Cloud Solution Provider Program, MPSA, or directly from Microsoft on Azure.com. Those don't have any upfront commitments. It is pay as you go. So there are some benefits to purchasing through the enterprise agreement or the server and cloud enrollment. So you can use your existing Windows Server licenses that have active software assurance. You can effectively use Windows Server Data Center both within your data centers and also in Azure, so you don't have to move the licenses. You've got dual use rights. So if you've got software assurance on Windows Server Data Centers today, you can now use those in Azure at the same time, which effectively gives you a saving of up to 45% in terms of the cost of an Azure VM. So effectively you pay the Linux rate rather than the Windows rate, so the licenses is already taken care of by your Windows Server Data Center license. If you don't have software assurance on Windows Server Data Center, you can reassign Windows Server Standard licenses to Azure. So this doesn't give you the dual use right, but you just simply reassign the licenses to an Azure VM instead of having it on premises. It's more cost effective to go and buy a Windows Server Standard license with software assurance and assign that to Azure than it is to purchase the Windows Server license through Azure. I'll caveat that with if you are Azure only and you don't have any on-premises Windows servers, then you don't need client access licenses to access a Windows Server virtual machine in Azure. Microsoft have some offers. So one of the offers out there is this Azure Compute pre-purchase plan. So if you're able to commit to Microsoft to run a certain number of VMs for 24/7, there are some significant savings you can do through that program. So if you think that fits how you're using Azure, then again, please get in touch and we can walk you through how those cost savings can be made. Now, if you're buying Azure online directly from Microsoft, then there are, again, some significant savings when it comes to the enterprise agreement or server and cloud enrollment through the storage costs. So they're around about 38% less by buying through the EA or server and cloud enrollment than web pricing. One of the other benefits through server and cloud enrollment and enterprise agreement is that you have price protection. So you'll pay, the price will be fixed at whatever is today's cost. It will never go above that. But if Microsoft reduce the price, they will reduce your pricing on there. So it's not price lock, it's more of a price protection. There's different options, so you can either make an upfront commitment whereby you say to Microsoft, we're going to spend this much Azure, and you can do a monetary commitment, or you can do pay-as-you-go, where you receive billing quarterly in arrears based on your usage. There's additional support, so when you buy through the enterprise agreement, Microsoft will upgrade the support level, and they'll provide that as part of the service. There are different options in terms of the plans available, such as the compute pre-purchase plan. There's also different add-ons, such as the operations management suite. And then, of course, you've got more functionality within the Azure Enterprise Portal itself, so it gives you better management and reporting capabilities. So that's it from me. I'll take any questions from you, and we'll get those on screen and just go through those. So one question is, can you please explain the unlimited server installs with SPE? So once you have licensed, let's suggest all of your users with SPE E3 or E5, Microsoft provides you with unlimited install rights for SharePoint Server, Exchange Server, and Skype for Business Server, all on premises. It doesn't have software assurance, so it doesn't have license mobility. So license mobility being two things. One is the ability to move a VM between hosts. That's kind of covered by the unlimited install rights anyway. And the second one is the ability to move or house virtual machines in third-party data centers on shared infrastructure. So again, it doesn't have the software assurance, so you can't put it into a third-party data center on shared infrastructure. What you can do is put it into a third-party data center as long as the hardware is dedicated to you. Next question is, do any of these licenses affect what you receive as part of a Gold partner membership, Gold partnership? So if you're a Microsoft Gold partner, I would suggest that Microsoft will release the new suites of products to Gold partners. I don't have any more information on that one yet, so we'll have to see on that one. For the licensing of Windows Server Data Center, would you have to update the per core model at the time of your OVS renewal? So OVS is Open Value Subscription, which is designed for kind of a small and medium-sized organizations. When you come to the end of your subscription term, because you don't own any licenses, there will be no kind of grant from Microsoft into the new core license model. So when it comes to the end of the OVS, you'll have to look at the number of core licenses you would require at the renewal point. Can you repeat why a license purchase of Windows Server 2012 is required to lock the price? So moving from the processor to core license. So you've got an option here. You can, in an enterprise agreement today, buy a Windows Server processor-based license, and it will lock in the pricing for the next 3 years if you decide it today. If you have got an existing enterprise agreement, it will lock in the pricing and the license model through to the end of the agreement term. Now the benefit of this is if you have got more than 8 cores per processor, then you'll lock in the current processor-based licensing model, which will obviously get you through to the end of your agreement term. It's going to be more beneficial to license based on the number of processors than it will be in terms of cores if you've got more than 8 cores per processor. When is the release date for Windows Server 2016? It's end of this month. So at Microsoft's Ignite conference, they will officially release it. It's on the price list to buy from well, 3rd of October, which is the Monday. Next question is, what licensing is required for using direct access? Does this link through to a standard CAL license? So Direct access is a feature of Windows 10 Enterprise or Windows 7 Enterprise and Windows 8.1 Enterprise and Windows Server 2012 R2 and obviously 2016. So to correctly license that, you would need to have Windows Enterprise on the desktop. So that can be Windows Enterprise E3 or E5 and Windows Server on the back end. And because you're accessing a Windows server, you just need to have a Windows Client Access license. As per the EMS graphic earlier, you could buy Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite, and that would provide you access to Windows Server. Sorry, go back up. We currently have ECS subscriptions, which I thought included ATP and rights management, but these seem to be E5 rights. I'll send you an email on that one just to confirm those. ATP is, I believe, a part of what was ECS, so I'll confirm that one and come back to you on that. If you have MSN for non-production only hardware, do you need any level of data center core licensing for SQL for that non-production environment? So if you've licensed via MSDN, there are no licensing changes there in terms of the core model. MSDN will give you the rights to use Windows Server on any number of servers for non-production use. It doesn't matter about the number of processes or cores on that side of things. So next question, we have an enterprise agreement currently. Which licensing is required for System Center products? Sorry, I've lost the question. Where are we? We're on an enterprise agreement currently. Which licensing is required for System Center products such as System Center Service Manager and Orchestrator? So the components of System Center such as Service Manager and Orchestrator are included within System Center Standard and Data Center Suites. It really depends on whether you are managing a physical standalone server or whether it's a hosting virtual machines. So typically you would use Windows Server Standard or System Center Standard to license standalone servers, and if it's a host housing multiple virtual machines, you would typically use Data Center, with the Data Center providing unlimited virtualization rights and management of those virtual machines. Can you switch from an OVS to enterprise agreement model and try and lock in the pricing? Yes, you could. It would really depend on when your OVS is due to expire and how many users you have within your organization. So OVS typically is for small and medium-sized organizations. The enterprise agreement has got a new entry level, which is 500 users. So as long as you're above 500 users or devices, then you can sign an enterprise agreement or enterprise subscription agreement, and that will lock in the price. When Microsoft released the new EA in the MPSA, so Enterprise Advantage, that will have an entry level of 250 users. Obviously that won't help you now to lock in the Windows Server pricing. Another question going back to Windows Server. So on an MPSA, if new licenses are purchased after 2016 is released, can we continue to license per processor, or must we cover all cores? So any licenses that you buy prior to 1st of October will be obviously licensed per processor. Anything that you buy after the 1st of October will be in the new core-based license model. Unfortunately, the MPSA doesn't allow you to lock the pricing or the license model. So another question regarding OVS. So is there a price increase for users that are using an OVS for server data center at the moment? So there will be a price increase if you come to your end of your OVS agreement and you have more than 8 cores per processor. To license those same servers in a new license model, it will cost you more. If you've got 8 or less cores per processor, then the cost will be identical. That's the end of the questions. If you've got any more, feel free to drop us an email at tellmemore@bytes.co.uk, or if you've got any specific questions around any of the points covered today, then please contact your Bytes account manager.
Thank you. That's all we have time for today. As John said, any questions, please email tellmemore@bytes.co.uk, and we will be dispatching the copy of the recording today. So if you missed anything, then please feel free to recap with the recording. Thank you.